information works here. Height information are images that have grayscale information. And this grayscale information, yes, black and white information, goes from a range from 0 to 1. That means that 0 is no information, or black, as in this case, yes, this black area would be the value of 0, and white would be 1. Now, if you want a better example for this, I'm just going to create a uniform color and I'm going to set it to grayscale, and it's going to give me a float value. And you can see that right now the image is black and the value is 0. And if I change it to 1, well, that's white. So we can play a lot with this because it helps us build information. But how do we build a bevel with this kind of information? Hey guys, and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I approach a new material art project in 4 simple steps. Now, these are our main reference. Yes, this is the material we're going to be working about. Yes, so we have different images. I'm going to show you where I take them. So most of these images come actually from Pinterest and Unsplash. So these are my 2 main resources when I have to search for images or inspiration. So Pinterest is going to be the place where I'm going to look for a lot of quantity, not much for quality in the images. What I mean is that I'm going to try to look for things that inspire myself into what I want to make. Yes, when I'm trying to do some research from some of the artworks I want to do for myself. Here, for example, I found another picture. Yes, I'm going to copy this one, just like this, come to my PureRef and paste it here. Yeah. So what I like about Pinterest is that while we are looking for new images, if we see one that we like for example this one, and we click on it, we're going to have a selection of images below that are going to be really similar to the ones we want to get into. So let's see a little bit what we can see here. You can see that there's a lot of reference images. We have a lot of size of the same world we want to build, but with different values. Let's say, for example, in this image we can see that this shines a lot, while in this one we see it's not that shiny. So I'm going to delete this because it's not aligned to what I want to do. Let's get a look into what I get from Pinterest. So I got most of these pictures from Pinterest. This is the only one I got from Unsplash. What I'm looking for is in each image, I look for something different. Yeah. So in this one, I'm looking at close shot to actually see the pattern and the distance between the tiles. Yes, that's what this image is about. I also like how it has different color variations and tones. It's like the same color but in different tones. That's something really great. So this image around here, we can see the roughness. That's all about it in this image. We just want to see the roughness because I want to mimic this kind of roughness in my material. Now, this image here with the image that we have on top, it's just a combination of what I want for my base color. So I want to have them different tones, yes, different colors. And I want this image, that is the one I took from Unsplash, to show me how detailed this base color is. If I wanted to make something super realistic, as I usually do, I need to have detail and quality in my images in order to achieve that result. I can't build something I can't see. So in order to build this, I need to find something that can show me what I'm going to be doing. So I'm not looking into shape, I'm just looking into the color, yes, and you can see right here, yes, of these kind of materials. Now, this last image I just picked up, I just choose it because I like this contrast of these, let's say, yellow lines that are going to be the space between our tiles, that I'm going to make it of gold. Yeah, I'm going to make gold out of it. So that's pretty much it. Now, for this image below, this is just a way of inspiring myself on how to make the render and presentation of the material. So many people just right now, if you go to ArtStation, just let me get this here and get this off the middle. If I go to textures and materials section in here on ArtStation, you're gonna see, yes, that most of people render their materials on spheres. And that's okay. I mean, that's a way of showcasing your material, but most of the times you can showcase your material in different ways. Here we have an example from Emil. He's a community member and he did this for his last 2-weekend challenge. He's one of the winners of the last challenge in the FMA community. And this way of rendering material is way more original than just doing a sphere or a cylinder like this. Yes, it shows more. If well executed, this presentation could be really amazing and call more for attention. Yes, for example, this material in here, yes, this render, this thumbnail we see, it's way more interesting than anything else. Same happens in other places, like for example, this material, this forest. Let's look for something else that might be different, like for example, this one from Tank. So you can see that maybe in this sphere it doesn't look as good as someone would like to, but if you go to this render that's a little more of a zoom into it with a different lighting, it does look different, and it makes a difference when having on the thumbnail. Same happens in this one. The best way to showcase this material is doing it in an artistic way and not just much on a sphere. Now, if you want to make a render on a sphere, I would really recommend you to do it just to showcase a little bit of how the material actually ties. But if you want to make something artistic that calls for attention, then I will go for a non-traditional render. On the other hand, also using, yes, these kind of scenes to showcase your material, showcase that as a material artist, you know how to place your material in a context. When you're working inside the industry, you're not just making materials for the sake of making a material, like when you're doing it on your portfolio. What you're doing is you're adding a complementary piece for an environment that is telling a story. So you need to be able to translate that to your portfolio, showing that you know how to make a material that is going to help you tell a story of the environment where everything is happening in the game. So for these kinds of images, usually I take them for Unsplash, yeah? So Unsplash is a place where it has really high quality images, but the best part is that these images are being taken by artistic photographers. So most of the times they kind of take images not just by the sake of taking them, but because they want to make something artistic, and that's something we can really get inspired of. Yes, we can have really nice lighting as any other kind of render. For example, if you're making a tile floor like this one, and you want to put your character in here to show the difference between the texture density of the texture and let's say a human model, as many people do. I think we had one around here. Let me show you. For example, like this kind of renders where we have the person here and the material here. This is a really good way, but picture yourself doing it something like this, having the person here, yes, and having this really nice lighting. It's gonna add so much value and artistic to your material that it's gonna be even better. So once you have your reference images, what I do is I move forward to my second step, yeah? I go into Substance Designer. So I already built, yes, this file because I can't show what I have on my folders in my file explorer, but just to go over it, what you usually would do is come to file, click on this icon, yes, you're gonna get this, and you're gonna choose the metallic roughness, yes. In here, you're gonna set your graph name, and this is really important to set it right for the export part that we will be talking later. Then you're gonna set your initial working resolution. Now in this case, I'm using 4K, and I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, yes, and that's really important. If you don't have that much RAM, or maybe you don't have a computer that supports 4K in this case, you can go 2K, and that's gonna be all right. You're gonna have as much detail. It's just another resolution. Yes, then you click OK, and this is gonna be your starting screen. So what I do every time I open a graph is I just go over some of these outputs, yes, and set them ready for work. So first, what I'm gonna do is create a basic shape for you to see what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna plug this here, yes, I'm gonna plug this here as well, and you're gonna see the result now of that shape image. So the first thing I wanna do is I'm gonna go to my normal map, and I'm gonna change this from DirectX to OpenGL. Then I want you to look into your 2D image, yes, and you're gonna see that right now I have my normal intensity at 1, and if I go far away, I can't really see what's going on here. I need to zoom in a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna up this to 5. I want an intensity of 5, yes. We still don't see it, that's because it's just a line, yes, and there's actually not much going on. If I blur this a little bit, we will actually start to see something else, as you can see here, because there's something like more in the background to differentiate the shape. So we're gonna plug this back. And what we're gonna do next is we're gonna change our roughness value. So our roughness right now is at 0.25, that's the basic value. And what happens with this is that it reflects too much light. So we can't really see the surface details. Yes, so in order to avoid that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set this to 2.5, sorry. And that's gonna allow us for some really nice reflection, and at the same time, it's gonna allow us to see the details or surface details we add on it. Now, here's the two last parts. So we have AO and height. For our ambient occlusion, you're gonna press tab and search for AO. And you're gonna pick this one, HBAO. You're not gonna pick the ray tracing, because while we are working, we want to work fluid. If you go for the ray tracing, that's going to be way too expensive. So we're going to get this. Yes, we're going to set the quality to 16 samples. We're going to use world units, and we're going to set the scale to 10 centimeters in this case. So now that we have our ambient occlusion set, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you, or teach you better say, something that is quite useful, and it's this information, the milliseconds. So every node, yes, have these three, yes, values in here. Now, what one is the node size, and the other one is the place timing. So the displayed node size that you can activate it here in this icon and clicking on this is the resolution. Yes, the first part is the resolution of your node, and the second part is the bitmaps of your node that you can also see it here. If you go to your output format, you're gonna see it says 8 bits per channel. Don't listen to it because it's not actually 8 bits of channels, it's actually set to the parent. That means the graph itself. So then we have the timings. What are the timings? So this numbering here that is in green is the amount of milliseconds it takes your computer to render or compile this node. And then when it's green, it's because it's really low. We're talking about 1.05 milliseconds. But if we go to another one, like for example, the envelope occlusion, we had 166. Yes. And if I go to the ray tracing, if I'm not wrong, it should be more. And it is more. You can see, and you can even see, you can even look at this. So if I remove this, you're gonna see that this one has more milliseconds than this one. So this one is red and this one is yellow. That means red is gonna be the worst case scenario for you. Yellow is going to be a medium, but if I plug this in here, it's going to auto update, and this goes to 539 milliseconds. Yeah, so that's quite a lot. That's why we are not going to use it right now, but you can see the actual difference between one and each other. It's crazy. It's really crazy. We're going to add that just by the end of it. So now that we have everything set, I'm sorry, my bad. Forget about something else. What we are going to do here, yes, is we're going to try to do something to fix these kinds of issues. So first what we're going to do, we're going to go to materials, default, and we want to have the metallic roughness into tessellation plus displacement. Yes, then you're going to go to this top part and you're going to click on edit, and most probably you're going to have all of these open. I want you to close all of them, and once you close all of them, you're going to go to the hide one. You're going to click on it, yes, and you're going to set your scale to 2 and your tessellation factor to 32. So bear in mind the following: the more tessellation factor you have on your material, the more it's gonna be more heavier for your computer, I would say. So I have 32 because my computer can support it. Try not to go further than this. 16 is alright, but if you want actually really quality, you need 32. So this tessellation factor is for the displacement of your material, and you can see that there's some strange lines here. If I add a blur here, right now it's gonna disappear, but it's gonna destroy my shape. So I want this to have a really low value, which is gonna be 0.1. Yes, so you're gonna see a huge difference between one and each other. And we want this just to soften a little bit the height, because it's gonna help for a better displacement, while the normal map is gonna be taking care of all the other details. Yeah. So now that we have everything set, what we are going to do, yes, is we're gonna start with our height map. And that's going to be the second step, yes, with all we have just done to start our material. Yes, so first step is when you're creating your height map, you're going to go for the pattern. Yes, and in this case, there's like the best scenario for this is to actually make your own shape out of this. So we're going to get a shape node in here. Yes, and let's try and make a really nice shape here. Yes, and I'm going to copy this here. I'm going to change this to disk. Yes, I'm going to get a blend, pull both of them together and set this to add. You're not going to see any change, and that's because both nodes are of the same size, and if I increase that, you're going to see this. So the blend node, for those who don't know about it, is a node that allows you to blend the information of two different images and use a mask. Yes, and this blend has different modes. Yes, all of them are completely different and go around mathematical equations. So why do we want these two together blended? Because what we're going to do is we're going to move the first shape up. So we're going to pick this line. Yes, press tab, go transform 2D. Yes, set this here. We're going to double click on our blend so we can see in the 2D image, this image, the final result, and we're going to do one click on the transformation 2D. So what we're doing with this is we're seeing our final result when we edit our node. So we're going to pull this up till we have it more or less like this. And this is a nice way of actually making a procedural shape, because right now I could actually, oh, sorry, my bad. I just press Ctrl C. If you want to go back, oh, I can't go forward. Damn. Okay, so we're gonna do that again. Double click here, one click here. Pull this one more or less. I want to be pixel perfect, more or less around here. So I'm gonna click on my shape node once, and let me see. So I can change this. And that's gonna be a little bit of a problem, because if I want to let's make it a little bit longer here. So that's gonna make us change the shape by hand. We're not gonna get into procedural parameters right now, but this is gonna be enough. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to build this specific shape and then tile it. So before actually getting this into something, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a tile generator. Yes. So when you want to create tiles, there's two nodes you can use. You can use tile generator or tile sampler. Now these are two different nodes. They have different kinds of inputs. Yes, but they have a difference. One is heavier than the other one, let's say. So in this case, as we don't need all of these inputs, yes, we are going to delete this. I'm going to use the tile generator. And what you're going to do is you're going to put your output of your blend into the pattern input 1. Next thing you're going to do, you're going to set your pattern into image input. Yes. And you can see that now we have our shape in there, and I want to do a small offset. Let's do 0.5, and I want to increase the scale of this, but we're not going to do it right now. In fact, I think I did this one wrong. Let's do offset. Okay, I think I'm going to look into this just when I finish the shape. So the shape is not completed yet, but you can see already what the tile generator is doing to our pattern. So the input you get into image input, it's gonna be displayed in one of these points, and this is controlled by the X and Y amount. So if I have a 4x4 here, I'm gonna have an image of 4x4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want it lower, I can go 2x2. Yes. So basically it's rows and columns. Yes. So we're gonna go this with 8x8 just to start with. No, maybe just go 4x4. And what we're gonna do next is we're gonna take this main shape, we're gonna get a line out of this and create a transform again. And in this one, we're gonna get another blend. But in this case, we're gonna use a subtract because we want to subtract part of this information here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna plug it. Right now, we're gonna have no result, but once we start moving it, you're gonna see where I'm going. Yeah, so this is changing. And look at this. When I get into this part, you start to see that this is the head of the shape we made, but in here we're starting to lose what we built before, you see? Now this happens because of one thing. If you go and double click on your transformation 2D, you're gonna see that this is tiling, and it's right. That's how it should work. In fact, if you're in your 2D viewport, you can press space, and you're gonna see all your image tiled several times. Now this red line here just showcases where your image finishes. That's the margin of your image. So as you can see, it's tiling. So I need to make it stop tiling. How can I do that? Well, in here, in your base parameters, you have a specific part that is tiling mode. And it's set to parent. Sorry, it's set to relative to input. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change it to absolute, which will allow us to change the actual parameter and change this to no tiling. So now it's not going to tile anymore, and we can change this as much as we want. So I'm gonna get it more or less, let's say around here. Save that one. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna increase the size. So we have something similar to this, but not so far. We want this one to be on different offsets. So what we're gonna do is global offset. This one is not gonna work. So we're gonna do a vertical offset. Yeah, I do it 0.5. Yes, this is how you do it. Yes, you said. So let's go over it again. So the offset is going to allow you to move things. Yes, offset different lines and shapes, different values, as you can see. So what we want to do in this case, if instead of doing horizontal, this is by default, we want to change this to vertical. I'm going to set this to 0.5. And now we're going to tile it. Yes, we're going to make a really nice tiling. Let's go 10 by 10. And we're going to plug this into our main inputs. So in order to, let's go a little back, in order to do what I just did, that means taking these lines to this one, you just need to press left shift you need to press Shift, left click, place it there, and that's all you have to do. Now, as you're seeing right now, we still might have a small problem, and it's that the shapes are not matching in distance. They are way too far. So we might need to fix that. So let's see how we can actually do. So if I go lower than this, let's say 6 by 6, space is not going to be the same. So what I can do in this case is actually increase the size. Yeah, I'm going to increase the size of my shape. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just gonna change these. Oh wait, we did the Uchiha logo. We'll do 1.25, maybe more, 1.5. That's pretty much it. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna scale this till we find a nice, really nice value. No, it's 6.5 then. There we go. And now we have it. Now we have what we want. Yes, that is this kind of pattern. But again, we are struggling a little bit with the overall length of the material. So what I'm going to do is just come here and maybe, let's see, let me get back to this part. I want to make this one longer. Pull this one here. And maybe what I'm going to do to arrange this is I'm going to get this into transform. So I don't have to move the other one, more or less around here. Yeah, so the shape is going to be the same, but if I now press this and start lowering this, you're gonna see the length is different. So now what I can do is come back here, lower a little bit the scale, and we are more or less going to have the same result. So let's go 10 by 10 again. Yes, but I want to do, let's do 5, no, let's do 10 here and 8 here. And that's going to give us a way better result. You can see that right now here, that's even better. I think it's not really well aligned here. Let's do 9 maybe. Now let's do 8. I want to stretch this as much as I can just to make the shape I want. So right now what we are seeing is that our shapes have really sharp edges and there's nothing in the middle. So before going to the shape, I'm going to add what should be in the middle of these tiles, which be our golden part. So what I'm going to do is a small trick. Yes, instead you can use two things in here. You can use an invert node. Yes, that is going to show you this. And in fact, we're going to use this just for the moment. So we're going to use this and we're going to use a height blend. Yes, that is this node. You're going to pick it. You're going to see that in the inputs we have the top and the bottom. So what's on the bottom is the gold and what's on the top is the other one. I'm going to plug this together and you're going to see that everything is filled, but they're all at the same height, and that's because they have the same values. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower this down a little bit. Yes, sorry, the other way around, and it's going to give us that part we might want to have. So as you can see, this one is already taking a little bit of shape in the pattern. I'm going to change my shape to this, but we still have problems with our shapes. They are way too sharp and I don't like that. And in here, our shapes aren't that sharp. You can see they have like small bevel. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into this one and I'm going to show you how height information works in here. So height information works here. Height information are images that have grayscale information. Yes, and this grayscale information, yes, black and white information, goes from a range from 0 to 1. Yes, that means that 0 is no information, or black, as is in this case, yes, this black area would be the value of 0, and white would be 1. Now, if you want a better example for this, I'm just going to create a uniform color, yes, here, and I'm going to set it to grayscale, and it's going to give me a float value. A float value is just a single number. And you can see that right now the image is black and the value is 0. And if I change it to 1, well, that's white. So we can play a lot with this because it helps us build information. But how do we build a bevel with this kind of information? So the way of doing it, or the way how I do it, is I take the ranges that are in the middle, meaning the gray values of this grayscale ramp. Now, how do we translate that to this? Well, this is how I usually do. First, I blur the information. Let me show you a difference. So this is how our image is right now, and we zoom really in, you can see the pixels of the image. Yes, right now you can see all of them. Now if I start blurring this, you're going to start to see that this pixel starts to expand. Yes, and there's a gradient. In fact, if I plug this in, you're going to see quite a big difference. In fact, you know what, we're going to get rid of this part and I'm going to show you this. You're going to see a really great difference. You can see how light is actually bouncing from the edge. Yes, and this is actually quite good, but we don't want it so hard. So what we're going to do is going to set this to 1. Yes, no, maybe 2. Let's do 2. And what we're going to do next is going to use our levels. And we're going to use these levels just to take a little bit of the blacks in and the grays out. So we have a more defined shape here, you see? So now we have a way more defined shape, which will allow us to have a really nice bevel with a high definition shape. And this is actually looking good. I like it. So as you can see, now we built the first part of the first main shapes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose all of these and set this to frame. And I'm going to use main shape. Oh, let's just do it as we should actually pattern dash main shape all together. Yeah, that's right. So right here what we have is our tile generator, and as you can see it's working procedurally. So if I change this to 20 by 16, my bad, we're gonna have the same size but different tiling. Yes, and that's something really important I just did right now. So what I did right there is I maintain, yes, the values by doubling them by 2. So if I go back, I have 10 by 8. Yes, if I multiply this by 2, I have the values we had before. And what is this doing is that the image, yes, it's tiling more, but it's maintaining the same shapes and properties of our previous value. Yes, so that's something really nice to have, and we could actually expose or export something like this to be more like specific into the parameters, so someone else can really use that. So now that we have this, we should make the lines in the middle. Actually, now I know we just did it, I just deleted, but we're gonna do it different. Now that we have this kind of shapes which has a slight gradient, the invert grayscale is not going to be that useful. That's because it's going to take that gradient as part of our mask, and we might not want that. In fact, let me show you. Let's see how it looks actually, because in this case it might be good to have. So I'm going to blend them together. I'm going to set the contrast to 1 and just set it right around there. Plug this in. We can see there's really high, more or less like that. And you can see there's a slight, yeah, there's a slight thing in there we don't like. So let's get this here. So there's kind of like, again, a gradient, there's space in there, and we don't want that. So let's see if we're using a threshold, yes, another node, is going to be useful or not. So what I'm going to do with this one is, I'm going to leave it just like it is, I'm going to change it to lower. And it's going to give us the inverse selection. I'm gonna pick this, and still not enough. There's still some space in the middle that I don't like. So let's try and fix that. Yeah, I'm gonna come here. First, I wanna set this to a place or height I like. So I'm gonna do this 58. No, sorry, 56. 53. More or less. Yeah, more or less like that. And I want to get rid of these spaces. So in this case, what I'm going to do is going to use a bevel. Set this to 0.01. This is what I'm going to get. Pick this here. And as you can see, the space is a little bit like kind of disappearing. I use the smooth maybe too much. So this is still too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this smooth, and I'm going to do the following. I want to have a really nice detail here. So I'm going to get this and set it to a negative value. And what I'm going to do next is create a blend node, set this one to our background and the other one to our foreground, and set it to subtract. And I'm going to go really low with this, 0.07, let's say. Plug it in, and we're going to have that kind of detail you're seeing right now. Yes, it's like the shape is going inwards. Now I know there's something weird about it, like these lines and so on. That's because of the resolution. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this to HQ blur. Yes, I'm gonna lower this a lot, paste it, and I'm even a little bit more. No, just went too far. Lower a little bit more. Yes, and that's gonna look better. Now I think we could do this better just by, let's give it a try using the threshold with an H key blur. So let's do this again, 0.2 and blend this one here, subtract, and maybe 0.1 instead of that. If I increase this, you're gonna see the difference. 0.25, let's do. So I'm gonna have this one here, and I think no, this one should go the other way around. And it's not working as expected, so we're gonna go back to the other one, which was looking way better. This one was 0.54. There we go. That's better. Now we should actually make this work. So let's see, we have the blur here. Let's use the levels. Let's see what we can do with the levels. Oh, maybe too much. Let's see, take this. And now it's just looking a little better. I pull the grays a little bit more. Yeah, and if I subtract this more, I'm gonna have a better shape in there. So that's nice. So this material, as you can see, is not really hard. That's why I pick it, because I want it to be your first project. Let's pick this one here. And also you can play along with it. It's actually quite simple to change this. You can change these parameters, lower another ones, and you're gonna get pretty much what you want. Now, the only thing I would have loved to do better might be the first main shape, because right now it's not as I would like it to be, because there's no way of me actually changing parameters here and all of this moving. But in order to do something like that, we should actually get into something a little more specific and technical that maybe right now is not needed. I'm gonna increase a little bit the smoothing here, because I want this to be a little more smooth in this part. Let's go to a plane right now, just actually see what's going on here, and do a little bit of this, so we have that really nice edge in the middle. And I'm not gonna add actually no kind of surface detail to my tiles, mainly because in this case they don't have it. But what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna set, yes, before going to my second step, what I'm going, yes, to my first step, I'm sorry, is I'm gonna set a little bit the roughness as I should have it, and also the metal value. So I'm gonna close this, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come to my hide blend, and it has this hide mask. I'm gonna take this hide mask and create a levels. No, I set the levels, and you're gonna see that this hide mask is giving me the exact input of my tiles. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press left alt and left click on this line, and this is going to create a dot. This is what we call a dot, and I'm gonna give this a name. I'm gonna set it to tiles dash mask. Yes, and if I do another left click after this dot, you're gonna see that it generates a second dot, but that they are connected, but they don't have a visual line. And if I go to my levels, it has the information. So I'm gonna take this here, bring it here, yes, to my roughness, and I'm gonna do two things in here. Yes, in fact, you know, I'm gonna pick my levels with my dot, my roughness and metallic, and I'm gonna bring them really down here and split them a little bit, set them here, and I'm gonna go invert. Sorry, I'm gonna change this for an invert node, this from here. And the reason we're doing that is because I wanna show where I have my metals. So after this uniform color, I'm gonna create another blend node, and I'm gonna add the information just in case I had to add more things later. This is gonna show where the metallic values are actually there. And in here, what I'm gonna do is gonna create another blend node, plug it here, use the tile mask as a mask, yes, and that should actually do it. But just because I want to be able to change it, I'm just gonna get this uniform color, copy it here. Yes, and I'm gonna really go low on this. You can see it here, how it's going to reflect the light. And I can have control of the metal as well. See how this is working right now? So we're gonna make this different. In fact, you know what? Let me try just moving this a little bit up, because I don't like the amount of space we have there, and I like this shape we are having here. So let's get this into a plane again. You can see this kind of bevel here. So let's see if I smooth this out. It's gonna look way more better, isn't it? Yeah, it's gonna look more clean, like all the material should actually be. And what I'm gonna do next is come here and, you know, to my tile generator and increase a little bit the scale. There we go. There we go. Now we have something more similar to our reference. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the moment you know you nail it. When you get something like this, I like it. Still not really convinced about it. Mainly this part, I feel they should be actually touching themselves more. I mean the metal part with the other one, but in this case I'm not gonna push on that side yet. And the best part is we actually have some values here that are really nice. Pull this a little bit back, this one here, change this to the cylinder again. So now we have like our tiles and our metal setup. Yes, so now it's time that we move forward to our first step, the base color. So we're gonna come here, yes, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring up our reference back, and oh damn, we have a lot of things here. So there's a lot of details. So I'm gonna start really simple. Yes, I'm gonna have this one here, and what I want us is to first select a basic color. That is going to be this one. I'm gonna have this color. So all our tiles has this. Now, as you can see, the metal and the tiles have the same color right now. So I'm gonna move this backwards, and I'm gonna come to this part here, which is, I'm gonna frame it again. Right click, add frame. I'm gonna set this to air and metallic. Yes, and I'm gonna copy this one. Sorry, I'm gonna copy these two. The dot and the invert grayscale. Go back here. Sorry. Ctrl C, Ctrl B. And around here, we're gonna create a blend. Set it here. Plug this in. Generate. No, I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna create it by myself, just to have the right value I want. 0.5, and that's pretty much it. Yes, because I want to have this. So now I have my tiles there, and let's just go one thing at a time. So first, I think I want to get this kind of really nice grain here. So I'm gonna show you here on under your 3D viewport. You should have this one that is the library, and you have your material filters, unfilters, and texture generators. So we're gonna look into its texture generators, and we're gonna look for some noises that might be useful. So I'm gonna go with blue noise fast, plug in one spots 1, spots 2, spots 3. Let's see, orange rough, I like that one. Rust fine as well. I'm gonna pick that one, really like it. And that's all for it right now. And I'm not going to look to my 3D viewport. I'm just gonna have this here, so I don't see my 3D viewport, and I can see only this, the image of what I'm building. So I'm gonna get all of these, give them an order, or let's say this, and let's start looking at all of them. Let's see what they have to offer us. Yes, that's right. So we can do something with all of these ones. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try different things right now. So this one I like it, but the warp may be too much. There we go, noise. Like something more like this. Just right now it's way too strong here, so I want it really low because this is what I'm looking for. Now, what I also want is maybe in this one, main range intensity, nope. Scratch intensity, I want to remove the scratches, and the grain intensity, oh no, we're gonna leave, wait. We're gonna yeah, we're gonna have the green intensity really high. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna get a high pass, just because I wanna remove the contrast of this image. Get this around here and set the levels. Yeah, turn the blacks a little bit in, and these ones as well. And I'm gonna copy these two into a blend and set this by half. Yeah, so I have half, 50% of this one and 50% of the other. And what I'm going to do now is create a gradient map. Click on gradient editor and click on pick gradient, and now pick my gradient. So I'm going to have this really nice noise you're seeing right here, which is actually really no good. Now let's see if I increase this. It's going to have different tones. I really like 0.5, so I'm going to do 0.5. I'm going to leave it right there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my black and spots 1 and 2, get this here, copy this high pass grayscale, set it here, same for you, same for the other one. Yes, and I want to have levels for each of them. Again, bring the blacks down out here. I want these kind of dots. This one's here, same on this one. I'm going to blend them together. This, and let's try doing this. Let's see if we can get a little bit extra information from this. Remember that the more information you have doesn't mean you're gonna have the best result, but sometimes it does pay off. So let's set this to 0.8, 0.9, 0.75, that was the other one we had before, and oh, I like this one. I like this one more than the other one. So we have two noises here right now. So what we're gonna do is gonna remove this one, and let's see what happens if I add to this a blue noise fast. That's just gonna generate more noise. So let's try to get this here and see what happens if we change. So right now it's not really much going on, but what I can do, let's see if this works. I'm gonna blend both of them together into a multiply. So I'm gonna multiply the information of one and the other, just to generate different spots for this to actually work. So I'm gonna have, let's change these as well. There we go. I think I'm gonna leave it right there. There we go. So, oh wait, I deleted the wrong one. Damn it. This one here, actually. This one here. This one here. And I'm gonna pick this and take it up there. So right now, what I'm about to do is I think I'm gonna take advantage of this map and generate a new gradient, but I'm just gonna pick the highlighted part here, which has data, but not as much as we had thought before. So let's see if there's one that has more. Okay, we're gonna just go with this. Oh, this one. There we go. This one. And I'm gonna give them an order. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick this, set this into a blend, plug it here, just plug this one here, remove this, and I want to see the actual result of this. So you can see this right now, and there's not much of a detail here because we need to sharpen this a little bit. So we're going to sharpen this information so we get that really nice sharp information in our base color that you can see there. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to start to see how these things look together. Now let's see, you do have the really nice, yes, we do have it, yes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something tricky here. I'm gonna create Gaussian spots, yeah, and I'm gonna do something else. First I'm gonna pick these and pull it up because I want them to be really separate away. I don't want one space to be mixed with the other one. And I'm gonna move forward into this part. I'm gonna take my tile generator and generate a float fit. Yeah, so flat fill is taking the information from our input and it's reading every shape we have in our grayscale map. Yes, and it's reading every shape that is apart from 1 pixel. So if these shapes were less than a pixel of apart, they wouldn't be read, or they would be read wrong. Yes, and you will realize, because instead of looking like this, it would look something more like this. This is what happens when your flat fill is broken, and this is when it's right. So what it's doing, it's reading its shape and it's assigning our RGB, or let's value, or let's say some coordinates, and from here we can take actually a lot of information. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna generate a flat fill to random color, and we're gonna create our levels, and we're gonna do left click. We're gonna do tiles dash random dash color dash 01. Yeah, and that's pretty much what we're gonna do with it. So we're gonna get this one, bring it up here, and what I want to do is I want to warp this. Yes, but I'm not just gonna use any kind of warp. I'm gonna use a vector warp. Yes, this one. So I want to warp this based in the information we just got. What is this? So as you can see right now, I have a map which has different kind of, let's say, dots or spots. Yes, I have a warp and I have random color information. So what this allows me to do is to actually put, yes, different parts of my map into all of the tiles and not allowing them to actually tile. So if I plug this here, we have something similar to what we had here, but we are not there yet. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use our levels, try to change a little bit this information around here, just to make it a little bit more. It's around here. Might not work in this case, but that's actually quite nice. I like how it's coming out. Like from afar, it's actually looking really good. From close, also. So let's try another one. Let's do parallel noise. Oh, parallel noise looks even better. Yeah, I want a parallel noise. And in fact, you know what? I'm gonna change. I'm gonna go to Google and close this one. And let's look for, basically I'm gonna look for gold PBR hex code. Let's see, pure gold. Let's see if actually Unreal has it. No, let's go directly to this one. And we have here E5B. So I'm gonna go here, go left click on this square, and I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna go E5B 80B 80B, and we have our gold. You can see it right there. It's really nice, but I'm gonna just lower a little bit the value because it's way too strong, and maybe a little bit of the saturation as well. Lower more the value. I want, yeah, that one. So this one is this is starting to look really good. This is starting to look like the material I wanted to make, but we are far from finished. So I'm gonna work a little more in my base color. So what I'm gonna do here is levels. I'm gonna try to make this a little bit up. So on this one a little bit down. This one more here. This one up here. There we go. A little bit better. Now what I want to do now that I have this is I'm going to take advantage of something, but in this case I'm going to show you just a new node. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and for my flat fill get another node that is called flat fill to random grayscale. Yes, and this is going to assign a different grayscale value to each of the tiles. Yes, now I'm going to do exactly the same I did with the random color. Just click, delete this node, and go here and do, I'm gonna click on this and copy this one, random, and change the color part to grayscale. There we go, save this, and I'm gonna go back here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press tab and search for dot. So I'm gonna create a dot node. I'm gonna click in this select connection, and I'm gonna go for my grayscale. Yes, so this is another way of actually doing it. So now that I have this, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna get this and create an HSL. And actually, let's see if I change the hue here. Is it gonna be too much? Maybe around here. Let's try this. This one here. This one here. So as you can see, I'm adding details on color step by step, and this can get so much better. I love working on these kind of materials, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So what I'm going to do with this is do something more like this. And yes. Love it. This is changing our whole material actually. So let's take a small look here. This is how it's looking right now. This is how it used to look without that. You see how much detail without just a simple combination. In fact, I'm gonna come right here into my search bar and search for Tomoko. Tomoko is another an HDR for your 3D viewer, so I'm gonna drop this here because I like more this one. And oh, this one is looking great, guys. This is looking really great. So I wanna have, yeah, this is nice. So let's get this here maybe. And now that we have this, actually, I'm gonna get here a note I have, which is a personal note that you can get at Ben Wilson's ArtStation. And it's the BW color variation complementary, just to all. Okay, that's because it's out of date. Plug this here, and I'm gonna copy our random grayscale mask, paste it here, and I'm gonna do hue variation and value variation here, and as a mask I'm gonna use my base color converted to grayscale as a mask input. Yes, and you're gonna see how different this looks now. It adds so much value to what we're doing. Let's put this here, this one here, and this one here as well. Grab this, make it a little more organized. So what we can do with this is add different variations on different things. Yes, and we can randomize this as much as we want. I mean, I could really go different shades. As you can see, I can change this as much as you want. In fact, now that we are talking about it, what I might do is I'm gonna copy this, bring it here. No, I'm gonna do it different. I'm gonna do a dirt. Yes, I'm gonna scale this a little bit. And I'm gonna use a histogram scan. So histogram scan is gonna read all based on the position. I mean, it's reading all the values of the shapes. Yes, so it's depends on the grayscale value each shape has, and it's trying to read it. And I can increase the contrast just to do this. I just want to pick some small amount of this, scale it a lot, then copy this vector warp here again, place this here, and even maybe lower a little bit the amount. Just a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna get a uniform color. Pick this color. Get this one here. This one here. Get this one here. And this one here. So now I'm gonna have these really nice speckles around my material that they're going to add a little bit of value. But the thing right now is that with the sharpen, this is way too rough. So what we're going to do is lower this by half, or maybe even more. Or what we can do actually is move this backwards. From a histogram scan, get a levels. So this to 0.1. See how it looks. It's going to be way too blurred. So we're going to get the levels. Put the blacks back. This one up, and we have these nice spots going everywhere. But if I have to be honest, I think I'd rather have the other ones, the main ones, the more sharp ones. Yeah, these ones are gonna do better, I think. So we're gonna remove, no, we're gonna just leave it there because it looks like it's softening it a little bit. And what I might do with this is, let's set it at copy, full copy. And I want to see what happens if I keep exploring with this. I like it. So this is a really nice way of actually adding values. So let's see. I'm adding some noise on top. I'm going to remember the add one. I'm going to go for the rest. I want to see the full power of this. And what I can do with this, and I know I'm not gonna do it yet, sorry, I have a warning. Just gonna see if we're still recording. It's maybe the overlay. Oh, that's looking better. Let's do screen, soft light. That's, I think, is the final of it. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is just lower a little bit this. Yeah, so it's just a detail. It's not really like so much there as it's something else. And maybe what I could do is also get these and blend them together into a multiply, so it's gonna only appear where I want it to appear. Oh, I think this one is better. Yeah, now it's more control. It's like a more control mask. I like it. So let's do more. A bit less. There we go. Now we're gonna lower this by half. Now we have really nice details in there that they are really soft. I like where this is going. I like it a lot. So you see our tiles are now really good. They're really good. So now we have the detail of the metal. And metallic surfaces are quite specific, let's say. I don't know if I want to add that much of a detail, so I might just do it a little bit brushed. For that, I'm gonna go back to our height map, yes, and I'm just gonna pick directional scratches. Set this to a really high value, not much of it, to be honest. Do this, a little bit of this, and as you're gonna see, it's actually quite strong, so we'll do 0.1. So do this by 45. Oh, won't allow me. Well, let's get this into 90 degrees because we want it to be directional to what we have here. And I think I'm gonna have this one 0.5. No, 0.005. So I want it to be a really nice detail, not something that is. It should appear in the normal, that it shouldn't be that strong. Yes, we need to have this gold, a little bit of detail. Here it doesn't have much, but I just wanted to. So next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna try doing the following. I'm gonna create another here, and I'm gonna set this to normal because it's our normal map. And let's just get this here. And I'm gonna come back here, and before the gold, before anything happens, what I want to do is actually I'm going to, let's see, oh my bad. So I want to create a dot node here. I'm gonna choose the normal, and I'm gonna pick two nodes actually. I'm gonna get the curvature, yes, which is this, and the curvature smooth, yes, these two. And I'm gonna increase the curvature intensity, and I'm gonna blend them together. A copy just to control a little bit the intensity, and I'm going to transform this to a gradient map, and from here I'm going to get a blend node, set it to the foreground, double click, and set this to, I think it was soft light. So this is going to be a highlight to the edges. You see this highlight? This makes quite a difference, believe it or not. Let's do it a little bit less. Maybe if I had more of this. I think this one is actually good. This is just to highlight our what do you call it? Our edges. Now, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go to our final and first step, which is the roughness. Yes, and as you may see, our roughness is almost there, but I want it to be as realistic as I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna come here. Yes, I'm gonna leave the sharpen by the end. I'm gonna take this into grayscale. I'm gonna turn this into grayscale, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this and create a dot node. Yes, we're gonna do BC/grayscale. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna go to our base color again. To our roughness. I'm gonna pull this like this because I want to have a little bit. I like having space when working. It feels more organized. So right now what we do have is the following. So we have this part is the metal and this part is this. So I'm gonna copy this dot node, set it here, and change it to BC grayscale and plug it in. So as you can see now, this have so much roughness variation, and there was not much I actually did. Yes, and this looks like a different material. Yes, but in this case, this is not exactly what I wanted. So what I'm going to do is get this into a histogram range, set the range to 1, and then start glowing this down. So I can make the material I want, maintaining the rest of the things and variation of my material. And now it's going to look even more realistic. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, we definitely got there. This is the right value, and this is like something you can apply to any kind of material, guys. In fact, I would suggest you to do it. Your roughness should be also detailed, and that's really important. Like if you want to do a 10 out of 10 material that is realistic, you need to have things with a lot of value as well. And in fact, let me show you something. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some distraction to these tiles. Yes, just like a bonus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this dirt generator. I'm going to pick is this one, and I want to have my curvature plug into the second input, and I want my AO here. I'm going to set this to AO only, and come back here, generate a dot. Once again, change it to AO. Oh, missed the dot. I don't know where I put it. Change this to AO once again, and set it here. So what you're going to see is that this is going to generate a dirt generator with is a mask that follows from the edges outwards of our shape. So we're gonna have this, and what I'm gonna do here is just do a blend and use a color that might be a little bit, let's see, what kind of color could I use in this one? So let's use some gold specks. I don't think no one's gonna actually, let's get this here. Yeah, so this is what's going to create, but right now I don't want this. So let's say this has been really damaged and the color beneath this is actually white. So this is the result you're gonna get. And this looks just fantastic. Yeah, now the only thing right here that we have, the only problem we are having right now is the following. Now, we don't have that much control of how the roughness is actually going to work here. So what we're gonna do is gonna set this here, and I'm gonna set this node to curvature, set another one here, set this one here, and then I'm gonna click this here and I'm gonna put dirt/generator. Great. And I'm gonna go back to my roughness here. On a different part, I'm gonna create again my dot, get my dirt generator, generate here in the middle another blend, and set this to add. I'm gonna add the information, yes, of this, but only using my tile mask, yes, because I want this detail to be on my tiles only. So now you're gonna see the actual difference of how this works when we have something procedural, yes, that works between different channels of our texture, because right now you can see that the white part, yes, is the part that also has the roughness of our destroyed, or let's say weathered out material. And if I get this here, yes, and lower a little bit this, you're gonna see that it's fully procedural. and we can use this to make really like different kinds of things. Like this is not the only thing we could actually do. We can use grunges, for example. Let's say I go for a grunge and I go grunge leaky paint, let's say, and let's use custom grunge input. So again, you can change it as much as you want, and it's gonna make the whole difference. So you can use anything here. Yes, and this is how you actually control things procedurally. And this is basically the last step to our material creation process. Now there's a second step, yes, that I haven't shown you right now, that is how to render your material. So in here, if you want to actually get this and render it, you should export it to another place. Now you can actually make the render in here in Substance Designer, but my recommendation is to use Unreal Engine or even Marmoset Toolpack. So as I know that making a material inside Substance Designer is not the only thing you need to do if you want to actually become a material artist, I'm going to be hosting a 2-hour Substance Designer Expert Bootcamp this Thursday. And in this bootcamp, what we are going to do is we are going to render this material and other materials I have on my portfolio and show you how to actually build a scene with the parameters and values and everything you need in order to make a breathtaking artwork for your portfolio. The only thing you need to do is just go to the description. There's going to be a link there under the name of 2-hour Substance Designer Expert Bootcamp for Artists. Click on that link and you will have just to fill out the form to save your seat. It's going to be this Thursday on our community Discord. Don't miss it. Now guys, thanks for coming today. I hope all of you really like what I did today, but I would like to leave you with a question. In this material, I make the tiles with gold in the middle, and I also created some damages on top. What else could we have added into this material to make it actually look more realistic? And which way would you do it, knowing everything I just showed you in this chapter? I hope you guys to see you again. See you soon.